Isn't it a nice day to think about Chivalry 2 yet again, everybody? Well, I definitely think it is. And to be honest, let's get right into the video. If you have subscribed, you're a real MVP. And if you do it now, you're a massive MVP. Like or dislike? Maybe do it later, when you feel like you have made up your mind. Let's get into the video. So at the moment on the channel, on the community tab, I keep advertising the community tab on the channel, but I will say that it's very important if you want to contribute to the channel and the content we're making. Definitely head over there and click your votes in. Click your votes. So today we're going to be talking about how many maps we can expect from Chivalry 2. Now, I think there will be enough maps at launch for sure, and I'm pretty sure that TornBanner has the structure, the stability, and the speed and momentum to keep making and producing amazing and epic maps. So I posed a question to all of you earlier today, well, yesterday if you're watching the video today. So I said, Chivalry 2, how many maps do you expect? This includes Team Deathmatch, small maps, and the team objective maps, the ones with the big objectives and the big set pieces and all the fun stuff. We had 3 main options and 1 commenting option. The 3 main one, the first one is 1 to 5 maps, second is 5 to 10 maps, and the last is 10 to 15 maps. I myself think it's going to be between 5 and 10 maps in total at launch, which I think would make sense. However, if it was 10 to 15 maps, I'll be very, very pleased. At least much more content to play through, and definitely a bit more to get your hands into. Now, we don't know too much about how many maps there will be, but we do know the modes that Chivalry wants to focus on. On their own website, they say that the game is focused around the team objective modes, which is like the focal point of Chivalry 2. And we have seen some of the maps in some of the trailers that we haven't gotten to play yet. And I am pretty sure we can definitely say, with a big shovel of certainty and 100% assurity, that we are in 5 to 10 maps space. I think 1 to 5 maps, at that point we're talking about like indie development, but TornBanner at this point, they're not indie. They're pretty good, right? TornBanner? I think they're pretty good. I think they know that. I think they're sitting there smiling right now, realizing that I just said they're pretty good. I mean, they're good at arrow cam. Okay. Don't get off track here, Turtle. Back on track. Holy moly. So, we know the maps and the modes the Chivalry 2 is going to focus on. So I would imagine that Team Deathmatch maps are probably going to be a bit more, well, it's like the arena one that we have had some gameplay of, where it's a big like lancing arena where you kind of fight. It's very symmetrical to some degree. I have a feeling Team Deathmatch and Deathmatch modes will share map pool. Now, it would be cool to see Team Deathmatch modes done on sections of the team objective modes. What I mean about this is that, let's say they do have let's say they add a mode like a Conquest mode, as in Battlefields. Let's say that you can hold a objective, you have a main spawn, and let's say there's like 3 flags to hold. Maybe in like a city part, not the entire team objective map, but let's say they do a castle that's like half inside, half outside the castle, and you can hold some flags, 1 outside the castle, 1 in the castle, and maybe 1 on the walls. And then, you know, each team spawns on the opposite side of the castle kind of thing from each other. I don't know. I mean, it could be interesting to see how they develop the maps in the future as well. I do hope that they do use some of their team objective maps to other small modes. I mean, there are some cool sections of the team objective maps that could be cut off and made into a deathmatch map. It could be made into a team deathmatch map. There's a lot of cool areas as well, because I feel like sometimes when you play a game that is like kind of competitive with some skill involved, sitting there and playing a symmetrical map that kind of looks artificial, because like this building and that building and this corner and this distance has to be kind of similar, so it's fair. I understand that. I mean, competitive games and such, you should have some kind of aspect of fairness. However, I do like the feeling that it isn't completely artificial and symmetrical to all degrees of the damn game. And what I mean about this is that, for example, in Chivalry 2's team objective modes, you kind of go through, sometimes there's some lanes, sometimes you're forced into one big lane, and the reason they have done it like that, in my opinion, is because they kind of force those epic battles and those moments in the game that you wouldn't get otherwise. Imagine if you had a castle and the entire area around the castle is available at all times. Imagine half your team running off, just crawling around the walls on the opposite side of the city, and the objective you're pushing is not on that side of the city. you kind of lose the effect of actually enjoying the game. So I feel like how they have designed their maps makes the game feel more engaging. It feels like the game itself, even though the players aren't actors or NPCs, kind of perform the act of showing the story of Chivalry 2. I also will expect, since they're using Unreal Engine, and probably the latest edition, I don't know what edition of Unreal they're using, I do imagine that Chivalry 2 is going to allow the community to create some maps. And I have a feeling one map that's going to be created almost immediately if the community can make maps is that Rose Garden, or I don't remember the name of it. But if you played Chivalry 1 and you went to a dueling server, there was this one like courtyard with a fountain in the middle and some healing areas around. I think if you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. I think that people are going to remake that in Chivalry 2 when we are allowed to. I haven't also seen, I looked at their FAQ and I've gone through the Discord, probably not well enough, knowing me, but I'm a turtle, I'm a bit slow at this stuff. And we have a schedule on this YouTube channel. It's a bit hectic sometimes, you know, sitting down and editing all the time. But what I was getting to is that I do think Chivalry 2 will allow community creation of maps. I haven't seen it said anywhere or stated anywhere, but I would imagine that TornBanner kind of wants that to be a thing. Because, you know, if the community can come together and create new maps and new content for the game, and I do think that is definitely something TornBanner would like to see, because it, you know, it makes the game last longer. So imagine if you're a Steam user and you don't really want to get Chivalry 2 on Epic because, oh, Epic, I want it on Steam. Then at some point when it comes to Steam, you're going to be able to probably jump into so much more content, depending on if TornBanner allows for community creations before it goes to Steam. I do think on Steam it will be easier with the community creation, and maybe at that point when they go to Steam is when they open up the floodgates to community creation in general. I don't know. I would maybe like to sit down with TornBanner and have an interview. If you feel like we should try to get an interview with TornBanner and see what's going on behind the doors, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I'll try my damnedest to get that to be able to happen or something like that. Also put your comments down below what you think is going to happen with Chivalry 2 when it launches. Do you think we're going to be able to make our own maps? Do you think they will split off big maps to kind of increase the small map pool? Like take a team objective one and divide it into small maps for team deathmatch and deathmatch? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And if you do like this video and you made it this far, maybe at this point you say, okay, I like it. If you don't like it, click the dislike. It's alright. Maybe next time I'm a little bit better. And if you haven't already, subscribe with those notifications on. And thank you very much if you have already done that. Until the next one, be sure to check the community tab, put in your answers, and let's see how the week goes. We're getting closer and closer to Chivalry 2. And at some point, I will sit down with Chivalry 2 developers and have a little bit of an interview at some point probably. Hopefully as well the world goes back to normal soon so we can enjoy a nice summer. If you're having a good day, I'll see you in the next one. I've been the Turtle, and until then, bye bye.